Hi and welcome back. I'm Shirley. So this week is Transgender Awareness Week, and I want to take a pause from talking about grief, even though it's my favorite subject, and talk a little bit about questions that are being raised in the public sphere as well as in private conversation about transgender children and youth specifically. And I want to start by addressing the biggest one, or the one that I perceived as the biggest or the most concerning. And it's about depressive symptoms and suicidality. Because those are very high among transgender children and transgender youth, and higher than their cisgender peers. And one of the questions that people ask is, if I allow my kid to go that route, am I exposing them to a higher risk? And the answer is in two phases. First off, when a child expresses the need to transition or the thought or consideration that maybe they need to reassign a gender or maybe they're exploring, they're already on that route. You can either support or not support them, but you're not allowing them. It's not a new baseball. It's something that their mind already considers they're already there. And the reason there is higher rates of depressive symptoms or suicidality even among transgender youth is because they are bullied often. They are not affirmed enough. So the world is telling them that their right to exist is being questioned or doubt, that they don't know who they are. And when someone is not affirmed, when someone feels the world does not believe them in something as deep as who they are, of course it's depressing. So what we can do is support the quest, support the questions, which leads immediately, of course, to the next question, which is, when we affirm their questions or their identity, are we not doing something that they later may regret and resent us from allowing? So let's first start with a few facts. With children and youth, the quest for gender affirmation, let alone reassignment, is long and complex. It needs multiple medical professions checking and rechecking and assessing. And it needs mental health professionals to walk the journey with them, assessing and checking and testing time and again. And we don't start with something that is irreversible. They start with language, the changing of the language we speak to people, pronouns or names, and then questions and answers before anything is done medically. And the change of language is absolutely reversible. Then, when it comes to medical procedures, it doesn't start with a surgery. It starts with puberty blockers. We're just stopping puberty so their body doesn't assign them a gender before they know who they are. And often I hear from people, they don't need to make any big decisions before 18. That's exactly what puberty blockers do. They give a person time to consider who they are before their body affirms it and decides it for them. It is just giving them time to think. So it's reversible. Then people can either take or not take hormones. And when they stop, their body will reproduce the hormones that it was supposed to naturally. Again, reversible. So there are steps along the way that are reversible before, as an adult, they can make some irreversible changes. And those are allowed for adults, not for children. So when a child or a teenager discusses their gender, this is not irreversible. It's an exploration. An exploration, when it's supported and affirmed as an exploration for that child, it gives them confidence. It allows them to trust us and to feel less lonely. And it is a protective factor against depression or depressive symptoms and against suicidality because it gives them a safe haven, which we all need. The next question parents asked or caregivers ask is, what if it's just a phase? Meaning, is it even real? And the answer is, in that moment, it is. And in that moment, when we say, okay, let's explore this together. Let us ask the questions. Let us give it a shot. Let's use the different pronouns. Let's see what's going on. How do you feel with that? We are allowing them to come back to us next time they want to explore something. We let them trust us. We are their home base, if you will. And it's a safe home base. So it's an exploration and a question, and questions lead us to answers that are right for us. When I was 10, I came up to my parents and I said, when I grow up, I want to be a chemist. Now, I tell this story often, and everybody who knows me laughs because I don't have what it takes to be a chemist. My brain is not wired that way. And at 10, my parents probably already knew that. But they didn't say, oh, you can't do that. You don't have those inclinations. They said, okay. And they got me a chemistry kit that was bound to not explode the house. It was a safe chemistry kit. See, nothing irreversible. And for 2 years, I was aiming at being a chemist. I was exploring and trying my route. And for 2 years, they raised a kid that was going to be a chemist. They supported my interest. They got me what I needed. And then at 12, I realized that's not really for me. And I want to be someone that people can come and can talk to and trust, and I will believe them. That's what I see as my job as a therapist. So we can agree that that kind of stuck from 12 to 50 at least. And when I said that, my parents affirmed that choice. So I explored, and second exploration was a success apparently. And maybe I would have had more. I don't know. Some people have more than one. But the point is, it was reversible, and I could trust them, and I felt safe, and I felt seen, and I felt affirmed. Now, would they be right, at least factually, if they said, come on, Shirley, Seriously, that's not how your brain works. They would be right. But would it make me feel seen and heard and safe? Probably not. So when I was 12 and I approached them and I said I wanted to do a different thing, I already knew it's okay to tell them. And I could trust them with my big truth for the rest of their lives, which is what we all want for the children we work with, and especially for our own children, right? So, if there is one message from me to you in Transgender Awareness Week, it is please let them explore. Please create a safe world for them. And since we cannot make the entire world safe, at least let's make the home base a safe space. Before we wrap up this video, I would like to introduce you to Nia Null, also known as Dreamer, the first ever transgender superhero on TV, portrayed by Nicole Maines, the first ever transgender woman to play a superhero. She appears first in the first episode of season 4 of Supergirl, and in the 11th episode, written by Jessica Queller and Dana Horgan, she tells her story. Enjoy.
So when did your mom come from Maltor?
When she was 18. The night before she fled her planet, she had a dream about a farmhouse where she would meet her true love. And she saw a bunch of random coordinates that she plugged into her craft, and she landed on Earth in Parthas. A human family took her in, farmers, and she fell in love with their son, my dad.
Wow.
Yeah. I can't imagine having grown up anywhere else.
Because you have parents from 2 different planets?
Yeah, but also because I'm trans. I always knew that I was a girl. My parents were amazing. They affirmed my authentic self and helped me transition young. I've always been able to be open about who I was in Parthas. I'm not saying it was easy. There were definitely people who didn't understand. But the town's ethos of inclusion is strong, and I think if I grew up anywhere else, it would have been a lot tougher.
Thank you for sharing that with me.
Of course.
As usual, I am very interested in your opinions and your experiences. Please write them in the comments. I promise to respond to each and every one. Thank you for watching and make this a wonderful day.